Hello and thank you for joining me on The Average EV. Today we are going to be doing our 2-month review of the 2023 ID.4 Pro. We have loved having it so much and we're going to kind of go over everything about the car and our impressions. Let's get into it. All right, everybody, we are here with the 2023 ID.4 Pro rear-wheel drive built in Chattanooga, and we are absolutely loving it so far. Again, this is the bigger battery pack. I have yet to see any of the small battery packs, but I'd love to test one out if anyone has one. But let's dig into this car. So for this specific trim, it has a price of $43,995 and a range of 275 miles, and that is the EPA estimate. It includes a bunch of wonderful features such as IQ Drive, which is basically all the driver's assistance features, assisted parking, and parking memory, among other things. There is a nice 12-inch infotainment in the center, which now has the updated 3.1.0 software, which has been working great for us. There is wireless charging, and there's also wireless app connect, which includes both wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. The vehicle sports 19-inch wheels, heated front seats, and it has an 11 kilowatt onboard charger, which means if you have a 48 amp wall-mounted EVSE, it can give you the full 11 or so kilowatts to your car. And according to Volkswagen, it can charge your car from 0 to 100% on the AC charging in 6.25 hours, which is great. And then there's something new and kind of confusing. There are two different battery packs with the ID.4. So there's the SKI and the LG Chem. The SKI is what my vehicle has. It charges at a max speed of 192 kilowatts and goes from 10 to 80% in 29 minutes. And the LG Chem battery pack is going to charge a little bit slower than the SKI. Here I'm going to do a walk around. I really love all these sharp edges that follow all the way through to the back of the car. It's a really nice looking car. If you don't like the way it looks online, I definitely recommend seeing one in person because it's really stellar. I remember when we went to pick it up, I was really impressed. Now I like the black, but as everyone knows, black is really hard to keep clean, so I have not loved that. But yeah, it's a really nice car. So let's go ahead and do a quick little walk around to look at a few things inside. So here we got the driver's seat, passenger seat. We've got piano black everywhere, which is an absolute nightmare. But it's okay. It's fine. Just for me, I really like things looking clean, and it gets fingerprints super easy. In the back here, now you see we fit a car seat, and there's plenty of room. We have the trunk, and I did a little bit of research, and the trunk space is pretty much on par with the Mach-E. Here we go. There's actually a lower compartment here, and then you can pull this up, and there is another little space. See, we keep our little sorry about the camera there. Our grocery bags there, which is nice. And there is a tire repair kit in there as well. You can see it's got the 60/40 seats, and it has a little cover for privacy. And then again, here's the rear passenger seat. Lots of space. I can sit in here comfortably. Here, I'll do it real quick. I can sit in here comfortably. I don't know if y'all can see, but very comfortable. Now you see we have a little trash can, but I've got at least 6 inches of room, and I'm very comfortable. I can kind of put my legs like that. Really nice. When you're in the rear, you've got some rear vents and some USB-C down there to charge. I've never actually been in the back seat, and a little bit of storage, not a ton, but maybe you could throw a phone there or something like that. And there is a nice view of the driver's seat and the 12-inch touch screen. All right, we'll walk outside. And here it is. Again,
just the passenger seat perspective. And notice how the screen is actually turned a little bit towards the driver. I actually like that because it makes it easier to see, but when you're a passenger, it's obviously harder to see, but there's really not much for the passenger to do with it. It's not like Tesla where if you all were charging, you could kind of sit and you know, watch Netflix or whatever. So yeah, it's a really nice car, loving it so far. Let's go ahead and get inside, and I'm going to give you all my driving impressions and ownership impressions, and then later you're actually going to hear from my wife, who this is her daily driver, and she's going to give you her impressions as a first-time EV driver. All right, everybody, you join me inside the 2023 ID.4 Pro. So I'm going to give you a few driving impressions. I know the car is parked, but it's just a lot easier for me to focus on all of my thoughts. So first off, I mean, I love the way it drives. It drives really, really nice, smooth ride, great suspension. Really enjoyed it. It just kind of like floats, which is really nice. I have a Kona, that's my car, and that is front wheel drive, and the ID.4 is rear wheel drive. And personally, and I know some people might be the other way around, I like the rear wheel drive better than the front wheel drive if you're only gonna have one motor. I spin my tires out all the time on my Kona, even when I'm not trying to accelerate too fast. Obviously that never happens here on the ID.4, and this has, since it's in the rear, more of the feel like you're being pushed along as opposed to the front wheel drive where you're being pulled along. So I personally like that. Now, since it is rear wheel drive, it doesn't feel as zippy. And if you wanted to, you could option up to the all-wheel drive if you want that zippy feel. But if I'm being honest, like, neither my wife nor I are race car drivers. We're not trying to beat anybody in the ID.4. We just want a nice, comfortable ride with a solid amount of range, and this car kind of really nails that for us. Something I really love about this car is the turn radius. It has an amazing turn radius. And I guess I've always had cars with bad turn radiuses, so I've never really cared, but this one is great. It feels like it's on a dime, especially as long as you're moving a little bit. So really nice feature, especially if you have to make a 3-point turn or something like that. Really, really great turn radius. Again, like I said, the ride is super quiet. The cabin is quiet when you're driving. There's a little bit of wind noise, but nothing too crazy. Definitely way better than my Kona. And again, just a nice ride. The infotainment is fine. I just put out a video about the infotainment. It's not amazing, but it gets the job done. It has worked for me. It's minimally glitchy and laggy. So again, I think it's fine. I don't think it's the best in the business. Obviously, Tesla annihilates everybody on that with their amazing software, but it's good enough, and I think it'll be good enough for most people. Travel Assist, again, I've done videos on that, but it works great. I really enjoy using Travel Assist when I'm on road trips and stuff like that. Helps reduce my fatigue when driving, and I've noticed it. I'm able to go a lot further and not be as tired. The only issue is sometimes when you're in a lane and there's like an exit lane, it wants to follow the exit lane instead of keep you in the proper lane, which is a little bit annoying. But just so I would recommend make sure you're paying attention when using Travel Assist, but overall works really great. They don't really let you take your hand off the wheel. You can't do that, and I feel like it's like 8 seconds before it starts warning you, maybe less. So they really want you to have your hand on the wheel. So it's not one of those hands-free systems, but it definitely helps make driving a lot easier, and I've noticed it. The navigation is passable. I have used it a little bit here and there. It gives you charging stops. It recommends you to electrify America first, and then when it can't, it'll send you somewhere else. So it works fine. Obviously, with the consumption changing based on elevation, driving habits, weather, stuff like that, it's not the most accurate as far as that. But if you set a good amount of miles left, is what it's called, once you get to the destination, I think you'll be fine using the navigation. And like I've teased in a bunch of other videos, I have a full road trip where I'm going to only use the built-in navigation, and I'll kind of show you how that works, and that hopefully the average person can take the ID.4 using its built-in navigation on the road. And lastly, as far as just the driving experience and driving impression, I'm not really a big fan of how the regen works on this vehicle. Some people might like it. I think a lot of like non-EV owners who are switching to the ID.4, they might be okay with it because it can feel a little bit more natural like a car, but when you have it in B mode or max regen mode, it's just too much for me. I wish it could be dialed back a little bit. My other car, like I've said, is the Kona, and you can adjust the regen. There's 3 different levels of regen, and then you can actually hold the regen paddle to do a max regen, and I really, really enjoy that system. Because you can kind of play with it and kind of maximize. But I think for the average EV driver that the regen is fine. But for me, it's just something I wish that I had a little bit more control over. Now I want to move into some ownership impressions. So like I said earlier in the video, I hate the piano black, but it is what it is. It's just, it gets fingerprints, dust collects on it easily, any sort of stains. It's just not my favorite, but it's fine for what we paid for the vehicle. So I'm not gonna complain too much about it and not linger on that. Charging has been great in general. When you get the battery nice and warm, so if you've been on a road trip, you're most likely gonna have a nice warm battery. And it charges great. I've seen 192 kilowatts max on a 350 kilowatt Electrify America unit, and that was the newer units. So it can charge fast, but as I've noticed in some of my tests, I'm not sure if you've seen them or not, it doesn't really matter. I charged on the 150 kilowatt charger, and it was only 2 minutes faster, 10 to 80 on a slower charger versus the fast charger. It's only a 2-minute difference. So is it that big of a deal? Not really. Now, if you're charging just like, 0 to like 40 or 50, maybe you'll save it another additional 2 or 3 minutes, but I wouldn't stress too much out about the charging speed and which chargers you use if you only have a 150 kilowatt charger available. I will say, and I've noticed this with my vehicle, other ID.4 owners that are on YouTube and other ID.4 owners that I've met along the way, and when the battery's cold, as with any EV, it charges slow. It's really not great. If it's like ice cold, you're looking 30 to 40 kilowatts. If it's like, I don't know, maybe like 50 to 60 degrees, you're looking at 70, 80 kilowatts, and that's at like low state of charge. The battery really needs to get warm, and I hope Volkswagen in some update provides us with battery preconditioning to help with that issue, because it's a major and glaring issue, and a lot of people are confused when they get to the charger because they're like, well, I'm supposed to be able to charge 170, but I'm getting 40 right now. What's up with that? And you have to explain to them it's the battery and it's cold and needs to be warm, but I've been driving for 50 minutes. Well, that's not really enough time. You'd have to drive for a really long time and have charged a few times. So that's something that for me is kind of a miss, but hopefully they can fix that and get the battery charging better when it's cold. And then my last kind of ownership impressions, for being a more affordable EV, and I know it's still a little expensive, but with the tax credit, which it currently qualifies for as of March 2023, hopefully that'll all get sorted out later down the road if you're watching this video later. I call this an affordable EV as far as I'm concerned. It has a general feel of just good quality. I mean, I love the steering wheel. It's such a nice feeling steering wheel. We've got these different fabrics. There's really, except for the piano black, and maybe a couple of this like little silver trim in here, it's mostly soft touch or cloth. And I love the way the cloth looks. It's really nice. It definitely makes it look nicer than it is, and it's a really nice car. So that, it's just, I think, and even when you're driving down the road, it just feels like a tank. It just feels like grounded and secure and safe. And I just think it's a well-built car. You go look at the panel gaps, they're all nearly perfect. You look at others like Tesla, and in particular Tesla, and like the panel gaps aren't quite there. And I just think that it's so built, so well built. It's got a good build quality. It feels it feels well built too. I mean, it's just a great value, and I'm really pleased with this, and I know my wife is really pleased with this too. So no regrets as far as getting the ID.4. We don't regret the long wait and everything like that, and it was worth the wait for sure. And I can't wait to see what Volkswagen does as far as improving the product over time, because I think that this is a great product already. So I just kind of want to give my last reason why I would recommend this car. And like I have said before in other videos, and maybe even in this video, I don't remember, everybody has like different needs, different use cases, and they might not need the ID.4. They might need something else, or they might not need this longer range. They might need smaller range. So everybody's use case is going to be different. But I highly recommend this vehicle to anyone, honestly. But if I were to pick a really specific subset, I think that this is a really great car for small families, or maybe like a couple or something like that, or an individual with a dog. It's just a perfect amount of space. We have a dog, my wife and my son with a car seat, and we all fit in here great and feel really comfortable. We're gonna road trip it this summer, so we'll kind of test it out. But I think that's kind of like the great market for who this car is for. But again, I think it could be great for anybody, as long as you only have to fit 4 people regularly, 5 people on occasion. The charging speed, it's great for road trips. I've road tripped it a bunch, doing different videos and stuff like that. And as long as you're hitting like pretty much max charging speeds, it's almost not enough time. I like to stop a lot because I have some back issues, so like 2 hours is like the perfect amount of time for me to drive and then get out, charge for 15 minutes, and then go. And honestly, I feel rushed. I'm like, oh, I have to get back in the car and leave now. So the charging is adequate. I know there's all the other vehicles with super fast charging and stuff like that. And while it's great, do you need it? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't think you really do. I don't think the fast charging for like a family especially is that important. Now, if you're an individual and you're really trying to like maximize and get where you need to go, maybe fast charging is really important. But I think this is absolutely adequate for road tripping with a family. Absolutely. I wanted to kind of bring this up because, and I did a little bit earlier, but I didn't kind of talk about the implications. So there are 2 different battery packs. There's the SK Innovation and there's the LG Chem battery packs. And as of right now, the SK Innovation battery packs are made in Georgia, and the LG Chem are made in Korea, or not in the United States at the minimum, meaning the ID.4s with the SK Innovation battery qualify for the tax credit as of now, March 2023. Hopefully that will continue over time, but we will see. And that means that the ID.4s with the LG Chem batteries do not qualify for the tax credit because the batteries are not made in the United States. So that is something you definitely want to be concerned about. Like $7,500 is make or break for some people when they're considering a vehicle. So definitely look into it. Would I get this vehicle without the tax credit when I could get with the tax credit? Probably not. Probably not. I would definitely probably want to get the SK Innovation battery, where I get the tax credit, and additionally I get the faster charging speeds. Now, like I said, the charging isn't that big a difference, but for a little bit of an edge, you know, I would prefer to have the faster charging battery. This is your first EV ever. You've driven mine a little bit, but what has the ownership experience been like for you?
I love it. It's super easy. I don't know, it's better in every way than driving my Nissan Rogue. Like, I really thought it was going to be harder and different and like an adjustment, but I can't even imagine driving somebody else's car at this point. It's been amazing and I love it.
What are some things you really like about the ID.4?
I'm a little bit of a spoiled brat. So I really love the climate and the ability to control the climate from the app. I like to be warm, so like I have like the seats are very nicely heated. I can click climate and click quick heating, and it actually heats up really fast. There's no like waiting for things to happen. It's just like warm immediately, which I love. I really like the space. Our son and I are in this car the most. So like we're not squished. He doesn't kick the back of my seat. I can reach him. Like he's not super far away from me, but I can still reach him. When we put him in the car seat, I don't have to like duck and put him in. I can just kind of like and go in. So the space and the height of the car, even though it's not like super big and super tall like my Rogue was, we can like get into it super easily and get out of it. The regen braking is also like in my top 3 favorite things. I very rarely touch the brake unless I am trying to stop. It's super natural. There's no like weirdness, even though you can't change the level. It's like when I'm in Tyler's car, I have to turn on the regen 3 for his car for it to match how it feels in my car. So it's naturally kind of like a little bit more heavy-footed than I think some other cars might be. But I really like it because I just commute, so stopping and going is kind of part of that. So the regen is super comfortable and super natural, and I really only have to brake when I'm trying to stop. The other like top favorite, I mean I love this car, but my other top favorite thing is the infotainment system is super easy to use. It's big, it's bright. I can program it to be what I want it to be. Our son can see it from the back, so he's a little obsessed with like, he knows cover art. So if he asks for a song, he likes to confirm that that's the song that I put on. So he can see it from the back. It's not super obtrusive at night, so that's really nice. It's not like bright and in your face and glaring. So I really like the infotainment screen and the whole infotainment center. All right, my least favorite things about this car. So they are super inconsequential. It does not affect the drive. It does not affect me and my opinion of the car. It's just a couple of like really small things that I just don't like love. So it's not like I hate them, it's just they're not my favorite things. So the number one thing that is literally the least inconsequential is the notification system. There's something that like, it has notifications, and I don't know what they're for. They don't, like, it's asking me to log in to something, like, but I'm logged into all the apps. Like, I don't know what they're for, but every time I delete them, they like go away and then they come back. They never go away. I always have 3, and there's like this little box on the infotainment system that lights up every 5 seconds, and it's really distracting because multitasking brain is like, I see something light up, so I look at the screen every time the number lights up, and I don't like it. Another couple other things, now that I'm used to the steering wheel, I don't hate it as much, but the haptics are really sensitive. So the difference between like a single touch, like the soft touch, and the harder touch on the steering wheel buttons is like, it's very minuscule. It's almost like too sensitive on the haptic for when you're trying to get something harder. So like, I'll turn on the adaptive cruise control and I'll hit the button trying to like up it once, and it'll up it like 5 times, and I'm like, no, that's not what I wanted. I didn't want to push it harder. So the haptics do take some getting used to, and they're really sensitive. So keep that in mind. Again, super minuscule. Something else I don't really like. I do a lot of like running in and out of places. So like for daycare drop off or running into Starbucks really quick. Every time I get out of the car turns off, which is annoying. It's not a bad thing. Like, I understand why, but it's like, I just wanted the car to stay on. I was literally gone for 12 seconds. I ran into the Starbucks and ran out. So that is just like a little nuanced thing that's kind of annoying, and we haven't figured out how to make that stop yet, or to get any kind of option. It would be nice if there was an option like, are you completely getting out of the car and leaving? Then we'll turn the car off. There is one big thing that I really, really hate. The parking sensors are very sensitive. Every time I park in the garage, it absolutely like flips out on all sides, and I'm nowhere near the edge of the garage. Or when I am getting to like the difference between absolutely too close, you're gonna hit something, and like you're 4 inches away is not, like, how it's warning you is not enough. So like early on when I was driving, I didn't know how to discern what it was telling me. So I actually tapped the side of the garage one time because I was like, oh, it's just yelling at me. Like, I was looking in all directions and I didn't think I was that close, but I did tap the side of the garage, and it sounds exactly the same as when I'm like 4 inches away from something and there's plenty of room. Our garage is not that big, so it's always kind of a tight fit. Anyway, so the car is fine, everything's fine. It's just I didn't trust the sensors because it's like there is no difference between really, really, like, there's enough room but it's a little tight and you're gonna hit something. So that kind of is hard to get used to, is the parking sensors, and I still just park the way I parked without parking sensors. Like, I'm, you know, reaching around the back and looking, I'm checking in all directions. Like, I don't trust the parking sensors. But again, those are all things that are just like my opinion and what I prefer, and just kind of like little annoyances of the car. It doesn't affect my opinion of the car, and doesn't affect like my driving of the car. It's just how I work and how my brain works. Do I have any regrets? Absolutely not. I'm a little bit of a skeptic in general, but like, so I was like a little worried. I really thought I was gonna miss the Rogue. The Rogue had a lot of like accoutrement that I loved. It was like really decked out, because it was one of the dealership cars, and then we bought it because they retired it. But I absolutely do not regret going EV. I hated getting gas. I would literally, like, I would be calling people and being like, hey, I have like 2 miles left and I'm like really close to the gas station, so like, can you just sit on the phone with me and make sure I'm not sitting on the side of the road, and you may have to, like, I would literally wait till the very last second to get gas, which I know is not healthy, I understand, because I just didn't want to do it. Like, I dreaded it every single time, literally from the time I was 16 until 2 months ago. I would just dread getting gas. So being able to just drive and then drive home and plug in is amazing. The charging is so easy. I was always kind of afraid to do Tyler's car because I didn't want to mess it up, but we've programmed my car that or Tyler programmed my car so that it just charges to 80. Like, I don't have to worry about timing it. I can, like, the car does it for me, which is awesome. Like, on the days that I charge, I just plug it in when I get home from wherever I am, and by the time I go to school in the morning, it's charged. And our son and I, we practice on plugging, and he closes the port, and it's super cute, super user-friendly. Again, like, it's just, the drive is so much better. It's quiet, which I love. It's smoother. Like, we live in a little bit of a backwoods area, and on some of the back roads, they're not well taken care of, and you're not like, driving along these back roads. So that's really nice. And I mean, honestly, it's not that different, other than the fact that everything is just better quality. I don't feel shaky. I'm not, like, I haven't driven in an ICE car since we got the ID.4. It's just, I haven't been in one. So, like, I don't really have anything to compare it to anymore. I honestly don't remember what it's like to be in a non-EV, because either I'm in my car or I'm in Tyler's car. And even when I'm in Tyler's car, like, I miss the ID.4. So, I would highly recommend. It is a mom safe car for sure. It is so easy to use. The charging is fast, so even when you're out, and you're just going to charge, like, when you're in the grocery store, or you have the humans, like, super easy. They can help. That's how easy it is. There's a lot of space. It's super spacious. There's a lot of storage. The options for, like, child lock is super, like, I turned it on, ta-da, and then I can super easily turn it off. There's no, like, going into the door. It's so, like, the ID.4 is just such a high quality product, and a high quality car. Like, it's beautiful and I love it, and everyone who like sees it, or I take a test drive and they love it too, and they're like, oh, you know, maybe you might have convinced me, and I'm like, go watch the average EV, he'll convince you more. But yeah, I really love the ID.4. No regrets going EV. I was a little skeptical just because, you know, I feel like we all are. It's just not an experience that we have driving in EVs, and especially since like the EVs that people know, like when I told people I was getting an electric vehicle, they're like, you're getting a Tesla? And I was like, no, we're not getting a Tesla. Like, people just don't know that there are cars, like regular brand cars, that are electric vehicles, that aren't Teslas, that are affordable for regular people. Like, we're both teachers. We're not rich by any means. We just know how to use our money correctly, and we budget well. We have a child, we have a dog and child fit in. We take it on trips. Like, it's so easy, and I love it, and highly recommend to anyone who's looking for an EV and needs a little bit more space, because they have other people and other living beings that come with them everywhere. Like, the Kona is squishy and it's small, and you know, Milo can put his feet on the back of your seat, not great. But the SUV style of the ID.4 is totally worth it. I love it. Highly recommend. So no regrets here from the average EV's wife going EV. Definitely worth it. Definitely glad Tyler convinced me that we need to do this. We save money, and it's just really amazing, and I love it.
All right, everybody, so that is it with the ID.4. An absolutely amazing car, definitely worth the money. We've enjoyed our time with it. There's little things here and there, but overall an amazing experience. I know that 2021 ID.4 owners kind of got left in the dust with the software, but they have remedied it with the 2023, and I would definitely highly recommend this. There are a lot of great vehicles out there, the Mach-E, Model Y, all those vehicles, and I think you just need to get in them, drive them, see if you like them, if you like the feel. We definitely love the way this drives, the way it feels, and it's just a great family car that we enjoy being in. So again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to give a like and a subscribe. It really helps the channel, and we will catch you all next time.
We'll see you next time.